Abrego Garcia's lawyers seek 30-day delay in release amid deportation threat. Legal update 2025. Picture this. A man caught in a legal nightmare, where winning freedom from criminal court could immediately land him back in immigration detention. That's the terrifying reality for Kilmar Abrego Garcia right now, and his legal team is desperately fighting to buy time against a looming deportation threat. Lawyers representing Abrego Garcia have urgently petitioned the federal judge handling his criminal case to implement a critical safeguard. They're seeking a mandatory 30-day buffer period before any potential release from custody. This request specifically applies if Judge Waverly Crenshaw rejects the Justice Department's ongoing effort to keep Abrego Garcia confined while awaiting trial. But here's where it gets controversial. This legal maneuvering directly responds to what attorneys describe as an imminent threat. The Department of Homeland Security (DHS) stands ready to seize Abrego Garcia for deportation proceedings the moment criminal custody ends. In court documents filed recently, the defense team laid bare their concerns. "We've received explicit confirmation from authorities that if this court denies the government's detention motion, our client will immediately be transferred to DHS custody. Removal proceedings would begin without delay." The Justice Department notably hasn't opposed this 30-day pause request, a detail that might surprise critics of immigration enforcement. Abrego Garcia's lawyers emphasize this delay wouldn't interfere with trial preparations, which continue toward a January court date. Now let's unpack why this case sparks such fierce debate. Abrego Garcia faces 2 federal human smuggling charges in Tennessee, charges he denies. But his situation involves layers of legal drama. He was controversially deported to El Salvador in March during the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, despite having legitimate protection from removal. Back in 2019, an immigration judge granted him withholding of removal status. This legal protection exists specifically for those fearing persecution in their home countries, and in Abrego Garcia's case, evidence suggested Salvadoran gangs would target him. Shockingly, his deportation proceeded due to an acknowledged government error. What happened next reads like a legal thriller. After his wrongful deportation made national headlines, Abrego Garcia and his wife sued the government. A Maryland federal judge ordered his return to the U.S., and following Supreme Court involvement and weeks of diplomatic wrangling, Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed in June that he'd been brought back, not to freedom but to face criminal charges. Here's the twist many overlook. When a federal magistrate judge later ordered Abrego Garcia's pretrial release, it triggered new dangers. The Justice Department appealed that release order, arguing he should remain jailed pending trial. Simultaneously, immigration authorities signaled they'd attempt to deport him again if he walked free. This created a catch-22. Criminal court release could lead straight to immigration detention. He remains held by U.S. Marshals while Judge Crenshaw weighs the government's detention appeal. And this reveals the hidden battlefront. In a parallel Maryland civil case, Abrego Garcia's attorneys seek emergency orders requiring his return to Maryland after any criminal custody release and blocking the administration from deporting him. That ruling remains pending, setting up potential clashes between courts. So let's confront the elephant in the courtroom. Should someone already victimized by a wrongful deportation now face deportation again, while contesting criminal charges? Does this represent due process or bureaucratic vengeance? What's your take? Fair legal process or systemic failure? Sound off below. Abrego Garcia wins 30-day stay in Tennessee deportation case. Imagine being caught in the vortex of a deportation hearing, with the fate of your presence in a country hanging in the balance. This is the reality for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who has just been granted a crucial 30-day stay in U.S. custody in Tennessee. This temporary reprieve is part of a complex legal dance involving the Trump administration and Abrego Garcia's legal team. But here's where it gets controversial. If the court rejects the government's request to revoke Abrego Garcia's status, he could face immediate removal actions by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. Abrego Garcia's lawyers successfully negotiated this delay after being informed that if the court denies the government's motion, their client would be transferred into DHS custody, marking the beginning of deportation proceedings. This 30-day window provides Abrego Garcia with much-needed time to assess his options, and decide whether he needs additional legal relief. Interestingly, the government has chosen not to object to this request, acknowledging that such a short delay won't hinder the preparation for trial or the development of a proposed scheduling order. The lawyers for Abrego Garcia highlighted that even with this temporary delay, both parties will continue working together on a scheduling order, ensuring that the trial date of January 27, 2026, remains unaffected. Moreover, the government has assured that it will continue producing necessary discovery materials during this period. This case raises important questions about immigration policies and the complexities of deportation proceedings. It sparks debate on the balance between enforcing immigration laws and respecting individual rights. As the legal battle unfolds, it invites us to ponder: what are the implications of deportation on individuals and communities? Should the government prioritize deportation over providing adequate time for legal recourse? These are questions that stir both empathy and controversy, calling for a nuanced discussion about immigration policies and their human impact. What are your thoughts on this matter? Share your opinions in the comments below.